Thank you to our distinguished and honorable chair for convening this important hearing, and thank you to our esteemed witnesses. Madam Chair, we know that the minimum wage in America is not a living wage. Even before this pandemic, families were on the brink. $7.25 an hour simply wasn't enough to make ends meet. There's been much discussion about this recently in Congress, and I vehemently support ending the Jim Crow filibuster so we can pass a $15 minimum wage. Today, I want to bring front and center the experiences, as has been elevated throughout this hearing, of women of color, but specifically women of color with disabilities. Not only do they face the pay gaps women of color experience, layered on top of that are their experiences with disabilities. So they face a jarring level of wage discrimination and compounded pay inequities. Moreover, in the United States, it is considered legal to pay workers far less, with reports indicating those with disabilities were paid a sub-minimum wage, earning an average of $3.34 an hour. $3.40 for an hour of work. The federal minimum wage is already unlivable and inhumane. 1 in 4 people who call this nation home have a disability. It is absolutely unacceptable that we have sanctioned their financial marginalization. While the disability community is not a monolith, I raise the sub-minimum wage to highlight just one archaic and ableist practice. As of October, more than 1,200 employers held or applied for 14C certificates, allowing them to pay workers with disabilities sub-minimum wages. Ms. Ragu, allowing people with disabilities to be paid a sub-minimum wage is a failure of government and uplifts archaic and ableist judgments of productivity. How has Section 14C impacted people with disabilities, particularly Black women and other people of color with disabilities?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman, but I'll have to admit that I am not familiar with the details of that particular piece of legislation. What I will say is I agree with you that the federal minimum wage and different sub-minimum wages in our federal law have a profound impact on women of color and people with disabilities and has perpetuated wage gaps for decades. One of the issues that is affecting people with disabilities, particularly during the pandemic, is the ability to work and continue working while also receiving the care and assistance that they need, especially in their homes. So one thing I would say that we could do on a policy level is ensure that people with disabilities are able to obtain pay equity and work for a minimum wage like everyone else, but also to ensure that they have opportunities to receive the assistance and care they need in the context that makes sense for them and their families and their ability to work. And that will be part of a solution towards working towards their economic security.
Thank you. I'm a proud co-sponsor of HR 2373, Raise the Wage Act, which would eliminate those Section 14C certificates once and for all. And my colleagues that know me well know that I'm very passionate about data, because I do believe that that which gets measured gets done. And the lack of complete, non-biased, disaggregated data about disability employment and wage gaps really is standing in the way of progress. While the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the American Community Survey and Current Population Survey census data provides disability employment data, this data is not disaggregated by race. So without a doubt, this disaggregated data would be valuable in our continued pursuit of workers' justice. Dr. Chamberlain, Glassdoor has served as a tool for job seekers, employers, and collected key data on employment. Thank you for testifying today about your data on the gender and race pay gap. Dr. Chamberlain, what percentage of job postings on Glassdoor proactively include information about accessibility and accommodations for workers with disabilities?
Most job postings follow the normal guidelines for ADA compliance, or saying that they do not discriminate. However, the real information many job seekers need, including disabled job seekers, is information about compensation and benefits. And while benefits are often listed in job postings, pay is extremely rare. Only 10% of job postings ever list pay openly. And so we try to fill in the gaps by estimating it ourselves.
All right. And you mentioned in your testimony that in this recently launched feature for your company that diversity, equity, and inclusion practices are part of that? How are the experiences of workers with disabilities weighted in your assessment?
We finally have begun collecting information about employee disability, race, LGBTQ status, veteran status, and other features. And we're displaying all the information on Glassdoor, all the reviews, all the salaries by those characteristics. So this lets people on an intersectional basis see exactly what they should be compensated for their particular situation, which is quite empowering. We've never had it before now.
Thank you.